All right, welcome to Ozheads podcast number 18. Another special guest, a very special guest, one Michael Roos.
Gentlemen.
Michael, please introduce yourself.
I'm Michael Roos.
I own the Smokers Abbey. Another smoker. We're back-to-back Smokers Abbeys. We just had Josh on the show.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, but
Yeah.
nice shout out. But yeah,
That's right.
I got to represent.
Another
you gotta
ad.
represent.
They take care of me.
So, a little bit of history. We've been friends since, what year was that?
The
What was your
CAO
rookie
days.
year?
2005.
2005.
Almost 20 years, yeah.
Almost 20. God bless, man.
Actually, I remember there was a great. I remember when you came in at first, but I like it when you kind of tell the story because I think that maybe you and I have different kind of remembrances of like how you
Yeah, I
came to
think
CAO.
you're remembering the first time I came in to like come hang out and smoke.
Didn't somebody like tell you like, oh, by the way, there's a cigar company in
So-
Nashville?
My rookie year, I think Jeff Fisher had some kind of event at some building down by the stadium, and so all the rookies had to be there. And a little goodie bag came with two CAO Cameroons.
Oh, cool.
And so I had maybe just kind of started like smoking, in college you'd buy a Swisher or something when you're at a party and trying not to throw up. And but I saw that it was local company, so I was one of those, tried it, good cigar. Didn't think much of it. And then my wife and I were getting married the next year. And I remember thinking that I'm not a big smoker, but it would be fun to at least have cigars at the wedding. So went on the internet, found the marketing guy for the company.
The marketing guy.
Cold emailed John and be like, hey, can you make bands? Or like, can I buy some cigars from you guys for the wedding? And immediately John was like, yep, we got you. Let me know what you want on them. And
But I won't sell them to you.
yeah, you're
That's
like,
what
I
I
won't
said.
sell them. And I'm like, well, I didn't want to accept that, but that's also who
At
John
first I
is.
thought it was
It's
kinda
also
like
who John is. So
I thought it was a hoax because it hit me with a Hotmail account.
yeah.
And I was
Well, it says a 5.
I was like, Hotmail? Who's this guy? But yeah, I was like, yeah, cool, no problem, man. We'll do it.
Yeah, I think
But then
he did
you-
40 or 60 cigars or something like that.
And I think it was CAO Gold is what we
Gold, yeah.
did. And then
And
Were they in a
they were
glass
in a glass tube, so
Yeah.
the extra band. Our,
you still have those?
Was the
our
band
wedding
on-
date was on the glass tube.
It was on the glass tube.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do still have some left.
Do you really? Wow.
How many of those do you
I
have?
smoked one on our 10-year anniversary, and I may have smoked one a couple years ago on our 15-year anniversary.
Wow.
I might maybe 3 left. But
I had one, funny enough. I found one the other day in my humidor that we had made, same style, for the birth of my youngest son. And I think I have like one left of those. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's a point of like how long do you keep it? It's
Yeah.
I mean,
But
it's
you keep the
gold.
tube.
That's not really a high
No, it's not.
intensity
It's
flavor
really
cigar
gel.
anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
And
It's
now
milder, so it won't last
18
as
years
long.
old, so
Was it pretty mild then when you smoked it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably keep one until the 20th.
But
and
you
then
can
smoke
keep
it.
the tube and put other stuff in it, I guess, and say this is my this is my anniversary cigar.
But backtrack. So people that don't know who you are, and there's going to be, Cole probably doesn't know because you're what, like 5 when Michael was playing. So
You're gonna have to do it because I don't like talking about myself.
I
like
know
that,
you
so.
don't, but I just at least kind of get the playing
Fill
field
it in
set.
if you need.
But so Michael was a member of the Tennessee Titans for how many years? 11?
10.
10? I thought he went 11. Anyway, you would know.
And he was a Pro Bowler,
Yep.
and he was kind of the anchor of our offensive line for a long time.
Yep.
So, and also Michael has also been a big fixture in the community. There's an area of town called Germantown that Michael was. Weren't you like the first person that like seriously that like recognized that did some development in Germantown?
Yeah.
There
As of February of next year, it's being renamed to Roos Town. Just so.
Yeah. There was a few people that had some properties, but yeah, we definitely saw some potential for the proximity to town. And I mean, for me, the facility was 4 minutes one way and 4 minutes to the stadium the other way, so no brainer.
Made sense.
Yeah.
Everybody else is living in Franklin, driving 40 minutes to practice, and being late or can roll out of bed and be there in no time.
Walk over to the stadium
Yeah.
practically.
I mean,
I can ride my bike. I've driven my bike here.
So
along
what-
the Greenway.
Yeah, that's right.
what was in that area at that time when you built like a condo like a house?
We built
there,
a
yeah?
mixed use development, yeah. Bunch of townhouses and retail spaces and a restaurant. There was, all the houses that are there were there for the most part.
So like Monell's was there, for example.
But everything you see there's no apartments. All those were, warehouse buildings or flat land, and they got bought up over time. And
So the Worthen Lofts were there at the time, right?
I almost bought one
And
of those back
you
in
did?
the day. Yeah, I actually toured it, and I was like,
People,
pretty cool.
so people lived in there, the Worthing Lofts, yeah?
Yeah,
Wasn't it, they were
the
like
first,
artist lofts, right?
It was the first like redevelopment in that area because it was the Worthing packaging plant, paper packaging.
Yep.
And that part of the warehouse had, I think, died off a long time ago. And they were, I think in '05, they had the first phase, like the one area, and they were moving to this area, then they built more, and now it's 4 blocks, I think.
Yeah.
Was Germantown Cafe there at that time when you moved? Okay. Yeah. But
That was
then,
like one of the first, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
still there.
what gave you that kind of instinct to say that this area is going to be an interesting area, perhaps a new neighborhood?
I mean, it's a historic neighborhood, so then you can't build too high. I think 45 feet was the height restriction. That overlay obviously has certain streets where it ends, which is why the apartments are on the outskirts of that. So no one can come in and just tear down all these houses and build high rises. And any street you walk north-south, you're just looking at downtown. Like, to me, it made no sense that it wasn't already built up. You have a quiet little neighborhood, everybody's walking their dogs, but you can also walk a mile to downtown.
But I remember, like, we
Seemed like a
came in
no-brainer.
and toured the building that you did. You have like one building at first, or did you have a multiple buildings, or how did that begin?
We
as far as
bought a
investment?
warehouse and then tore it down.
Okay,
And then, built kind of in sections.
I see. Because I remember there was one that you were like, "Hey, it'd be great to have a restaurant over here because it's a corner
There was
unit."
the corner, which is a restaurant now, above
That's
it.
right.
I actually, at one point, thought it would be a great cigar
Cigar
lounge.
lounge.
Because
I
it
remember.
had a patio looking at downtown. But it was just tough to, like, the financials of it are, hard to pull off with.
Remember back in the
Right.
day, we actually looked at starting Crowned Heads.
Well, before you guys
Oh, in his
moved here,
building?
Yeah.
when you left
Cummins?
Station,
Right.
you were
Right,
trying to
right,
get a
right,
new
that's right.
space, and one of our spaces, you could have done this tall-wise,
Yeah,
but
but
the space was
A fraction
quarter
of this. If that,
yeah.
It was really tiny.
It would have been
cool.
it would have been a bad decision.
Yeah,
You
probably.
would have been breaking your lease within a year.
No, I would not have been go.
Yeah, now this neighborhood is one of the hottest neighborhoods of Nashville.
No, for sure. For sure. So, all right, back to cigars. So you get the wedding cigars and everything, but how did you get into cigars to the point you are now? Because you're pretty into it, right? I
like
mean, you
them
got
a
a
lot,
nice
yeah.
collection. You are a big supporter of the Abbey. You're Josh's number 1 customer, as I hear the story told. So
Pretty sure I pay his rent every
right.
month
Oh, and then some.
for both locations.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, we smoked those then and then slowly started getting the friendship built with you guys, and then we'd come around and smoke, you guys bringing out new ones at that point. I think the Brazil was already out, but then you had the big America one. So you constantly, even now, you're bringing out new sticks, so it'd always come by because we're friends, and like,
Right.
yeah, let's try this one.
Right.
Try it and go like, ooh, that's different. I like that a lot. And then you start building that palette, and then you guys would have another new one, and then all of a sudden start having a collection. I'm like, well, I like these, and then what are other brands that are comparable, and start trying.
But you collect, right? Because I mean, like, there was a time where I had no
have
Las
a-
Calaveras 2014, and you brought me some actually, which was kind of ironic. But
Yeah.
you do collect to
Well,
an
and then
extent.
I think it was a couple months ago, I brought you a full box
Yep.
that I had left.
I still have it.
I did that early with a few boxes, knowing it's a one-time release, and just to see how they would age. How they would be. I did it with a pack of Monte Cristo number 2s I bought in 2008. It was a 3-pack, and my buddy and I, who was with me on the trip, bought them in Sweden, and then I think it was last year, so 15 years later, we smoked them. And like I was cutting it, and it was like, a little brittle.
Little
and we're-
crispy.
Yeah, we're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But when we lit it, perfect smoke, smooth. Obviously, the flavor is not strong, but mellow and still delicious.
So you have Cubans too in your collection?
Yeah, I got a bunch that I've just kind of saved and kept.
Are there ones that you find I like these the best, or I mean, do you find a lot of differentiation in them?
No, they're all. I mean, I've gotten so
Similar.
into the bolder flavors. I think most Cubans don't have that.
Yeah.
They're a really nice
Sure.
smoke. They're well built and like tasty, but they don't have that spice and peppery. But I'd probably, my favorite is probably currently the Epicure number 2.
Pollo.
It's probably mine.
Somebody gave me at the trade show a Partagas Lusitania, and they said that this was like Jordan's favorite cigar.
Yep.
But the gentleman that gave it to me, he lives in Denver. Really nice guy. His name escapes me right now, but I remember it smoked. It might have been like one of the best Cubans I'd tried. So I'd tried some before that were like same experience with you. That thought they were like, when at their best, they were like, fine and something interesting. Not something I would like break my back over to try to
Well,
get.
I think now it's perfect if you're on vacation with a cup of coffee at 8 a.m. on a patio. Especially if you're overseas, you can easily get them. It's a perfect morning smoke, light and buttery.
Have you found a place that you like? Which country? I know you travel a lot. That there's one country or a duty free or whatever that
I haven't traveled in a long time with.
Oh, really?
I've been to play some golf in Ireland and Scotland, but other than that, my wife and I used to travel all the time. But then COVID and now baby, so we'll get back to it soon. But usually, if I had a stopover in Amsterdam, I would definitely go to duty free there. They have a great one.
okay.
There's also a great tobacconist in Amsterdam.
You can't-
PJ Housenhoes or something
yeah.
like that.
Harhus.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
It's
I
hard.
remember
It's a tough
going in there and it was
pronunciation.
it's like a museum for cigars.
But apparently you can't smoke in there anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did an event down in Tampa.
But you can smoke
there was a
hash
consumer.
anywhere
There
on
was
the
there were
street.
actually some.
It's like,
There were some people from some Dutchmen that were over there that told me that they don't allow smoking in there anymore,
That's interesting.
which is too bad.
Yeah, I usually would check any duty free, but even with duty free prices like Ireland,
right.
Ireland, all those places, their taxes are so high that it's not worth buying.
And you gave me my one and only Behike. You were on the Behike thing, back in the day when Behike first came out, the Cohiba Behike.
It was easy to get them.
That was, back then. Now those cigars are what, $300 a piece or something crazy like that.
So
Insane.
that Mike, who's at the factory where we work with
Ernesto.
Carrillo's with Ernesto, he was instrumental in the creation of the Behike. I had no idea.
I didn't know
He was telling me about this like that was the beginning of this month, because he worked for Habanos for a time. He actually lived in Paris for them
I didn't know.
for a while. Yeah, I didn't know.
I know
that
you worked
either.
with Habanos,
Yeah.
but I didn't know all that.
No. I mean, somebody that I was with brought it up. And they said, well, that Mike was instrumental in the creation of Behike, which I haven't smoked a Behike, so I don't. I can't.
Big
comment on
cigars.
it.
I think I have a few left from the last time I bought them 6 years ago in Argentina. The small ring gauge, the 50s, I think. So they're like the
You
Corona
gave me one of
size.
the big ones. It was like a 54 or something like that.
Yeah, might have been 56.
For the longest time, I wouldn't smoke it. I'm like, I'm going to save it. And one day I was like, I could die tomorrow. I'm going to smoke this thing.
Yeah.
That kind of a
It's all
thing.
meant to be consumed.
Yeah. We even smoked cigars on my honeymoon,
It's true.
right?
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Yeah.
Laura and I met
St.
Michael and
Peter's
Kat.
Square.
Yep. In Venice, and we
Yeah, I
had.
think I brought some Partagas.
Partagas number 2s.
Yep.
We sat out there in the square and
That's
had
right.
a little prosecco and or whatever it was, and then smoked cigars.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Because we were in Genoa, just
Yep.
taking day trips everywhere in Italy, and they were on their honeymoon in Venice, and we're like, all right, we'll
So we
take
met
a train
up.
over.
Oh, that's
St-
We went to
Stayed the
Harry's. You
night.
guys took us to dinner at Harry's.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
$50 Bellinis.
Yes, the
Had about
Bellinis.
Oh no!
8 of them each or something like that, and you
Good
get the
times.
bill, and you're like,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
It's a good
They
memory.
did invent them here, so that's why they cost so much. Because who's gonna not buy them? Yeah,
was a
you're
good
like,
night.
shit. All right. Get that prosecco headache the next day. And
Yeah.
Those cigars were good too, from what I remember.
that is one of those places it's a hard time. It's hard to have a bad time smoking a cigar. There's people
100%.
watching in that square.
Yeah.
Sun
And the weather was
setting.
beautiful.
Doesn't matter
It
what
was
you're
a nice
drinking.
night. It was just good. It was a good night.
Wine, whiskey, rum, doesn't matter. It's a good setting.
So fast forward to today, like what brands, and you don't have to plug us, but what brands are in your flavor profile now? You mentioned bigger, bolder.
So currently, it is all about I smoke as you guys. There was a period there. I'm trying to remember how old Crown Heads was. You guys were getting going. You probably had Headley Grange, Four Kicks, J.D. Howard,
Back in
a
the
few, and going the same profile. Really anything my father was doing.
Yeah.
Some Perdomo, some Padron, Ernesto's. I'm trying to remember what else. Some of Pete's stuff, Tatuaje. Like all the good boutique,
Right.
some not boutique, but just good brands.
Yeah.
And just was buying all that kind of stuff. And then as your portfolio grew, it was like, well, there's 12 to choose from here. And I like them all, so I just keep smoking them and keep buying them.
Oh, we're grateful. And Josh is grateful.
So now
I'm grateful. All I gotta do is text him, and then
I know, right?
he shows up here when it's not his time to buy.
I was gonna say 9 times out of 10 when he comes here to
He's
pick
not doing
something
a
up.
restock. He shows up on Tuesday, and you're like, "It's Roos."
I'm like, "You're going for Rooster's house?" He's like, "Yeah, okay, all
And
right."
there's the big bucks.
Yeah.
So now you just came back from Scotland, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're also a big kind of since I've known you, like a big bourbon whiskey kind of aficionado. Would you say a collector?
No,
Would that
I
be
drink
accurate?
it all. No,
You drink it.
don't
So
collect
do you
anything.
find that with cigars, do you like you prefer bourbons or scotches, or what's your kind of what do you like to pair cigars with generally?
It kind of depends on time of day, mood, and what I want out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like Christmas, Christmas evening, Christmas Day night, like the day is over and I'm going to finish the day, I'm probably going to have a Lagavulin, which is a very peaty scotch.
I love Lagavulin.
But to me, that peat screams winter, Christmas, like fire. So I always like finishing Christmas with that. And depending on what I've done during the day, drinking wise or smoking, it might be something really bold to just
Cut through it.
knock the day, get the day done.
Yeah.
Or something lighter, have a Cuban with it to kind of enjoy it a little more.
Yeah.
And then if it's cold out, maybe a little high proof bourbon or something. And like, it just depends on what you're going for.
And do you like it neat, or do you like it with ice, or how do you, or it just depends on what the spirit
depends,
is? Yeah.
If it's
And
hot
also,
out, if it's
yeah.
hot out, it's hard to drink
Straight.
high proof straight. Yeah. It just feels like it burns more. But I have no problem drinking it neat.
So-
Generally, a couple cubes.
So both of them you can pair with cigars, and no problem.
And yeah, you can pair anything with a cigar.
Yeah.
I think you can go gin, vodka.
Rum, from what I've been told,
yeah.
rum is like the
Usually, once it gets this warm, I start drinking rum.
yeah.
Especially some of those. Like my favorite right now is a Venezuelan rum, Diplomatico.
Oh yeah.
It's very comparable to one of my favorite rums, is the Havana Club 7-year,
Yeah.
which you can't get here, obviously.
I have a bottle of that. I mean, I got it on the way back from
Yeah,
duty
you can't
free
get it
from
here.
Dominican.
So
Yeah.
the Diplomatico to me is very comparable.
I didn't know that was Venezuelan. I can see the bottle.
They have multiple levels of it. The one I like, I think, is a 12. It's not a 12. It's called Diplomatico Reserva. It's kind of a green hue bottle. But yeah, I buy those by 6 piece.
Yeah, all the
Once it
old
gets
Cuban
warm
guys
like
they all
that,
say
with a little bit lighter cigar, just because.
rum pairs well with it.
And I'm probably outside because it's warm. But yeah, that rum is really nice.
So shifting question about like your football playing career, would you always left tackle like your entire career?
My rookie year, I was right tackle.
Okay, in college were you right or left? Left. But rookie year you were right tackle.
Yeah, because Brad Hopkins was in his
Yeah,
last year,
yeah.
so he was the left tackle. So it's basically the same thing that happened with Taylor Lewan. Like I came in, Brad last year, he left, I became left. My last year, they brought Taylor in, and then I left, and then he was left tackle.
How long of a learning curve is that to go from right to left? And I mean,
Try
left.
to make it short. If you want to be in the field, teach yourself. I mean, it's a different. You're different foot's up, different angles, but I mean, it's the NFL. If you want
It
to,
seems like it would be like writing right-handed and then saying somebody tells you got to write left-handed now,
a little bit.
right? A
But
little
you
bit
just
to
gotta,
that.
you're retraining your mind and head and everything to look a different way. And luckily, you practice a lot during training camp. So
But typically left tackle is, I mean, you're facing more intense rushes from the left side as opposed to the right side. I mean, obviously
That's
I
the
didn't
blind
play
side, right?
football, but is that-
traditionally, now a lot of teams are putting their best rusher on the other side,
oh, really?
knowing the best tackles on the,
On the left side.
yeah.
Yeah,
Put your best rusher against not the best tackle
makes sense.
to get more sacks.
So what techniques did you learn that you felt like, all right, these are like, these are important techniques for me to kind of have down in order to protect the quarterback as best as possible.
I mean, it's all your feet and hands.
Really?
Where are you placing them?
You were blocking. People that don't know, you were blocking for Steve McNair back in the day, right?
Only the first year, yeah.
First year. Then who's after Steve?
Then you had Vince
That's
Young.
Vince Young,
Vince,
Kerry,
that's right.
Kerry
Yeah,
Collins,
that's right.
and Matt Hasselbeck, and Jake Locker, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Then who has that?
Who was your favorite quarterback you blocked for? Favorite in terms of just like cool guy,
Fun,
fun, cool.
Fitzy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's seen him on TV. Like what you see on Thursday Night Football, and like
his personality.
that's him at all times.
Yeah. Great personality.
Yeah. Really fun guy.
Well, there was one season I remember with Collins that we started off like 10-0. Is that right? And that was interesting because we had that thunder and lightning kind of combination of Lendell White and then Chris Johnson.
Damn, that's
Smash and dash.
Is that the year he ran for 2,000 plus or something?
No, it was the next year.
That was the next year. Okay.
Yeah.
So when he would rush for those gaps, I mean, I guess it just varies where he's gonna, you know what I mean, where he's gonna run from and what you have to do based on that, right?
Yeah, depends on the play and depends on what he's seeing. If there's a design hole, but it's not always where it's going to be. He's got to find it.
Was that, would you say, from an offensive line standpoint, when the Titans were most effective in your memory, or would you say there was one year we thought that the offensive line was particularly effective, like as a whole?
I mean, it works together. So Chris obviously made us look good, and we try to make
Yeah.
him look good. You knew with him, just doesn't matter where the play's supposed to go. Just keep blocking your guy because he might, bounce all the way outside, but he's so fast. He'll
was
make something
terribly
out of nothing.
fast.
So you basically like thinking, don't be the guy
Yeah.
that like slows up. We should thinking the play's supposed to be over there, and you're like, okay. And all of a sudden, oh, shit, here he is.
Didn't he run like some ridiculous 4.2840 or something like that? I don't know.
4.24.
Was it 4.24?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's fast. That's crazy fast. Whatever happened to that guy?
Chris?
Yeah.
He's in Orlando, I think.
Doing-
He's got a coffee shop, I think. I can't remember if he's doing some coaching. He's got twin boys that
Oh, wow.
are running on, I think they're 7th grade or 6th grade, running around like he did. And
They already got their NIL set up and
Probably.
everything, probably, yeah.
yeah, probably.
But now it seems like to me that offensive lines in general have gotten more.
Terrible.
Well, no, but that's interesting that you should say that, because I would say that like the amount of talk around offensive line, the importance of offensive line
it's
has
gone.
like elevated
the
in the
importance
public.
has, but the quality has gone down.
Why is that?
No one's teaching it in college. It's not necessarily the player's fault, but everybody's doing the RPOs and all this other, BS stuff that no one has to really learn how to block with technique. Just get in somebody's way, and the quarterback's so good, he gets rid of the ball or runs it around somebody. You don't learn how to block.
Do you miss it? Would you ever go back and like be an O-line coach or something like that? Never.
Yeah, I wonder if like
Only if I could pop in here and there.
yeah,
The time commitment is way too much.
Yeah.
I wonder if the whole introduction of the NIL and then also all of these schools kind of forming super conferences.
Yeah, it's just a mini
that's going
league.
to, yeah.
100%. It's a farm league.
Good
It always
for-
has been, but now it's like the
It's got its
financial
benefits and it's got its major disadvantages.
I think it's an
If you're
interesting
a head
topic.
coach in college, it's a huge disadvantage because you don't know if your guy's going to stay.
Like
There's no penalty
year,
for
every
transferring
year,
anymore.
every year they could move, right? I
Transfer portal and all
Yeah,
that
it's, I'm
stuff.
going to go play over there. Oh, you're going to give me $2 million? Like
That's insane. That's what
the
bothers
signing-
me
is
about
that
signing
that.
going to-
bonuses for college
Is
players.
that going to lead to like an erosion of the quality of the sport? I wonder, like at a college level.
No,
What?
I think what it's going to do is kind of like the Yankees in baseball, where you're going to have the top 10 teams just have the best players. Like you almost don't need to
Always.
recruit that well anymore.
Yeah.
Just whoever recruits for you, if you have the money, like Alabama or all these big schools, you can just, they played a year there, they recruited him, he's good, we'll give him $2 million. You want to come over here? Okay.
It
And
does
just
seem
build these monster teams that can't lose.
it seems like it's the same cast of characters at the end of the season in college. It's always Alabama, Ohio State, throw in like Texas, Clemson. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Clemson,
something like
Michigan.
that. Yeah.
Michigan. It's the same thing. It's like, man, there's no turnover.
Maybe a Pac-2 team, and
It's
Yeah, right.
it's 2 now, so I don't know what's going to
yeah,
happen.
right. It's just it gets kind of boring after a while.
Well,
it's
some of those
true.
conferences now are what, 18 teams,
I know.
like the Big 10 and the like Big 18. What are you going to call
Is
it?
it really?
Yeah.
There's
A bunch of the
18 teams in the
Pac-12
Big Ten?
teams went to
That's
Big
true.
10, Big 12.
I think there's a few more going.
Yeah, that's
too.
right. Like USC, UCLA went to the Big Ten.
Right. It's just kind of weird.
It's going to be very
I
weird.
still think it's strange to think about that. To see those teams playing and
What isn't there a rule now as how many years that they can play in you're supposed to play in college? Is that right? Or can you leave after 2 years
I
playing
think
in college?
NFL is 3 years out of high school, I think.
3 years out of high school.
Yeah. I think.
So, okay, I think that sounds right. Just because of like
I think
the
maybe you just
physical
have to be a
development.
junior. I've never seen a sophomore come out since Maurice Claret.
But that's interesting.
what
Herschel Walker could have done
I
it.
think that's when they made the rule, was after Maurice Claret.
Herschel Walker could have done it. I think.
No, but it's interesting to hear the comment of like, the quality of the offensive line has gone down just because of
Games
maybe
changed.
lack of the instruction also. But I mean, also the NFL has become more, pass oriented as opposed to run
Makes you
oriented.
think you'd want.
You
That's
would think.
why
But the quarterbacks become more mobile.
it is, but that's why you get a
Arguably.
premium now. Like the Titans hired a good O-line coach, Callahan. You need a coach that's capable of teaching. So
Well, I mean, I guess that might put more credence on these like, preseason, practices or workouts or I don't know. It's all interesting.
Going back to the NIL thing, though, what always boggles my mind about that is like I remember being in college, and if I was making $1 million a year, I didn't go to class as it was. So why would I ever go to? You know what I mean? What am I doing there? It's like show up for practice, cash my check, buy my car. I mean, it's just like what's the motivation to keep a young man at that age?
there isn't, yeah.
There's no motivation. It's just
And then they show up to the NFL with that attitude already,
Oh, yeah.
thinking you were owed something because you've already been paid.
So on that note,
But those
then,
people also get fleshed out pretty quickly.
yeah.
But on that note, Michael, I mean, you've been very involved in the community over here. I mean, not just from a development standpoint, but also you've been very engaged from a community standpoint, which I give you a lot of credit for, because I think it's really easy to not be in a lot of levels, but you've been different in that sense. So what was it about your background that kind of like made you to be the way that you are relative to that, So I think actually to you and your wife too. I'm going to give props to your wife because she's also very engaged and an engaging personality. So was it your upbringing, I assume, or?
Well, obviously it is because it's the counterpoint to exactly what you just said. Grew up with a single mom, 3 kids, no money, got a random chance got a scholarship to get school paid for, otherwise I'm not going to college. So you're constantly fighting to get everything. And then when you kind of get a chance at something, you got to keep working so you prove that you've earned it, as opposed to, well, you've already gotten something, you haven't done anything.
Right.
So where's the motivation? So if you have to constantly work for it and reprove it, then it kind of builds that work ethic, character, and then to me it's like, well, if you've built that, it would take a lot to lose it. So if me and my wife got what we got when it wasn't expected, then it makes sense to try to give back and spread it.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's common sense.
Yeah.
You can't grow poor, get lucky, and that's really all it is. Like NFL, yeah, you got to work, but there's luck involved in that. And then think you're hot shit. Like there was people that helped you.
Right.
You didn't do it on your own. Anybody that says that is lying.
What year were you in high school? Because you didn't play you didn't start like Pop Warner and all that stuff. Whatever.
Senior year.
You were a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So that kind of boggles my mind. You got a late start on it, and you still ended up making it to Sundays. It's crazy when you think
Proof that
about
you
it.
don't need to play football early. I'm not the only one.
I mean, a lot of these
I think
kids
Jason
start
Peters
so
was the
young.
same way. I think he was a basketball player in college, I think. Like there's
You played basketball, right?
Mhm.
I remember
Mostly, yeah.
we played many games of horse drunk. Remember that? You, me, and Mickey, we were playing horse, and we were like hammered drunk, and I beat both of you. So
sounds like you weren't drunk enough.
I'm pretty proud of that fact.
And you don't drink anymore, right?
And I don't drink anymore now, so I definitely could play some horse now. But yep.
And now I'm better
Here, I
drunk.
have a,
Now I'm better drunk. So I'll probably still beat you.
Michael, I have a lighter here. I wonder, why do you think it's difficult for more people that are like, players that open that are retired to? I mean, do you find that is it common for people like other players like you to want to have that kind of viewpoint of giving back to your community?
I think a lot do. I just don't think it gets
The
doesn't get talked
notoriety.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless someone's giving a big splash somewhere and it's big news. Like players do good stuff all the time, and a lot of them, like myself included, you try to do it without the notoriety because that's not the point. But then it's which one's more important? Then now no one is talking about all the good that's being done because it's not been broadcast. But again, to me, it's like, well, doing good is doing good. Okay, if someone doesn't talk about it, cool, I still did it. That's all I need.
That comes from a pure place in your heart, as opposed
Yeah,
to
you're not
trying to
supposed to-
get the accolade for it. It's like,
Right.
you know, Taylor Swift donates $10 million to XYZ. It's like, but you see it everywhere published, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas
I mean,
you could do that equally as well quietly.
anytime we try to give to whatever it is, it doesn't matter how small, big, it's always anonymous. I don't even know. They don't even know who gave it. You're just helping out.
As it should be.
Wonder where you got your kind of your instincts for, like, you know, business sense, business savvy too, because you have that too. I mean, you know, was that how did you obtain that? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if I'm that savvy. I kind of try to
Well,
just
I think
look at facts and try to use common sense, and a little bit you look at whatever the thing might be. You look at what people like, trends, and where it might be going. You could be wrong. The key to that is, well, anything in life, you can't be afraid to fail. You got to take a shot on something. I mean, we took a shot in Germantown buying that land and building a mixed-use property, but we didn't do it to make money. We did it because we built this mixed-use development. That's what we see in Europe, and that style of living we like. So we're like, well, we're going to just build this to improve our little corner of the neighborhood, if nothing else, for us. If it pays off, great. Otherwise, we at least improve this little bit for us.
and what's so interesting about that now?
Everything else is gravy.
It's become a very, like, walkable community,
it's hugely walkable,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
The streets you see people walking on at all hours of the day. 10 years ago, you would never see people walking there.
Yeah, like when I said I looked
Third
at Worthing
Avenue,
Lofts
no one
back in
walked
the
on
day.
Third Avenue.
That was a
right.
dodgy area.
No one walked on Third Avenue. And now
Back in
it's
the day.
all day
Yeah.
people with dogs. And
so did you think I'm going to put in sidewalks at our first kind of development, or you know what I mean? Is that like where that? Because I always find that, like, in a city like Nashville, now the younger generations are looking for, like, walkable neighborhoods, and if you think about it, still there's not as many as I think maybe there should be in the city. You know?
yeah, a lot of the other neighborhoods, there are neighborhoods, but yeah, like East Nashville, I think gets labeled poorly because East Nashville is a direction. East Nashville, you can't say I live in East Nashville. That's like saying I live in North Nashville. That includes all this other area. East Nashville has like 12 neighborhoods. You know, Inglewood,
Lachlan Springs.
Lachlan Spring, like all these, McFerrin Park. That's the Germantown. Those are those neighborhoods. But everybody says East Nashville, and some of those neighborhoods have sidewalks and some don't. You're just walking the center street.
One of the other things I think that you've done a really good job with is that you kind of surround yourself with people that are, like, in different industries. Do you know what I mean? You don't hang out with just one style of person. I mean, you hang out with a lot of different types of people. So, I mean, like, the restaurant that he had mentioned before, that the restaurant that opened at his corner is Henrietta Red, which is, you know, regarded as one of the best restaurants in town now, you know, and that came from other
I mean-
friendships that you had fostered.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where you pay attention and you see something, you like it, take a chance, and it might pay off.
So you've had, like, a good eye, whether it's products or whether it's, like, people and what they're doing with services for, like, quality. I mean,
Well, yeah.
basically, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, you've had a good sense for that.
Well, yeah, if the product's good, it should sell. Doesn't always, but then it comes down to how is it marketed or pushed or sold. And if that's decent or good, then seems like a good idea. You can always improve, you know, things here and there. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Crown Heads, you don't spend money on advertising, but the product speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's a longer path to the
It is,
to the
but
end,
it's a true
end
path.
line. But
It's pure.
yeah, it's organic and it's real.
Yeah, started
sure.
like this, and then it's
That's the way I always kind of thought it should be done, you know, as opposed to trying to, like, lure people into trying your product. It's like, let the product speak for itself. And if it's quality, people are going to figure it out.
well, and enough people like me would go somewhere and be like, "Oh, that's a new one. What's this?" And if the shop
Right.
owner talks it up a little bit, he's your advertisement. You're like, "Hey, this guy's doing this." They try one. Oh shit, that's really good. Now they tell friends, "Hey, I tried this one cigar," and then it just does it organically.
100%.
Also, I'm curious based on that, like, our last podcast, we were with Josh from Smokers Abbey. You're wearing a Smokers Abbey shirt. I mean, you're obviously, you go there a lot and you frequent that place, and that's kind of, I would assume, your kind of go-to store. What was it that kind of, what was it that made that relationship? What was it that attracted you to like that store, him?
Well, I used to go to a different shop to get my cigars in Green Hills, and then I'd always known Smokers Abbey. It's closer to my house.
Yeah.
Smaller, just one of those, just never stepped foot, no reason why, just didn't. Finally went in. Josh and Nate are awesome dudes and just down to earth, and whatever it was one of those, whatever you need, let me know, take care of you, show up, get you a beer. It's what you want.
Yeah.
It's like friends, not friends. Cheers. You know, you just.
They have a way of making you feel comfortable.
He didn't marry you and your wife, did he? He talked about that. That might have had some bonus points.
What's that?
He didn't marry you and your wife. That might have earned him some bonus points.
But that feeling of you're welcome.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
They do a great
They
job of
have
creating
that
that
in that shop.
environment. Yeah. And they provide good service. They
Every
take
time I
care of
walk
you.
in to pick up cigars, you see everybody that's in there. Like, they're like, hey, you good? Need another one? Plain bartender, basically, while selling cigars. It's good people.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
For sure.
So let me ask you this question. You, after you retired, got into curling. Is that right?
Briefly.
But you got into it because you were talking about, hey, we're going to try to get into the Olympics. And I'm like, what?
That was Jared's plan. Yeah. Still is his, but yeah.
So, okay. So is that like right after you retired? When did that
No.
occur?
I'm trying to remember. It was 20.
It was before the pandemic.
Yeah, the most. It just started maybe early 2018. And the most curling was probably during 2019. And then the pandemic hit. And then I was not going to go travel and curl during that. And then we had a baby. And I was like, then I haven't thrown a stone now in 4 years, I think.
Yeah. But it was you. Was it Jared Allen?
Jared Allen was starting a team trying to make the Olympics.
Yeah.
And he started the team where? In
Here.
In Nashville.
Yeah, he lives here.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So it was, me, Jared, me, Keith Bullock, and Mark Bolger, who Mark lives in Nashville too now.
And Mark opened a curling.
Yeah, because while we're doing all this,
Location.
there was nowhere for us to really practice.
Right.
So we would go up to Minneapolis, where our coach was, in the curling center there for weekends of like practice and scrimmages. And he was kind of like seeing it as it's Nashville. You build anything, add alcohol to it, people will go.
Is that where the sales team went during the sales meeting?
Yes.
To,
Oh, yeah,
to curl?
yeah, yeah,
That's,
yeah.
Okay,
We did,
cool.
yeah.
Now I'm putting it together. All right.
The tourism here is, it's axe throwing, dart tournaments, doesn't matter. If you add alcohol,
Yeah, that one I never understood.
Eventually kill
Alcohol
somebody.
and axe throwing. I didn't see how that was a good combination.
But if you add booze and a chance for groups, bachelors to come
Yeah.
do it, you're gonna make money. So he found a warehouse. Took him a while to wait for a lease to end, build it out. And I still haven't actually been, but it's a great place. And he does well.
So,
So the team kind of disbanded.
I see.
But Jared's still doing it because the whole idea was his, because he has a bet with a friend. He had made a bet that when he's done playing, that he can make the Olympics. And his friend bet him, I don't know the amount of money.
It must be a big bet to keep going with this.
No, Jared spent way more money to try to win the bet than he would win.
oh, wow. So,
It's on principle.
It's
He
a
wants
pride
he wants to
thing.
win the bet.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
the amount of money. He wants to win the bet. So there was no timetable on it, And curling, those guys 50, 60 years old curling. I don't think he has that much time because he's got 2 kids. So he didn't make the last Olympics. So the next one's in Italy, I think. The next one's Olympics. I think that's going to be his last push. So he's still doing it, but he's put together a team of other good curlers, and they did really good at the national championships last year, I think. And
does the team then, or do individuals from the team get invited to be on the Olympics?
the team.
Oh, the team gets invited to be in the Olympics.
Well, not invited. You got to win. You got to win the national championships, And then there's also the Olympic qualifying tournament, and you got to win that, and then you're the U.S. team.
So, you watch it and you're trying to like, I mean, for me, when I watch it, obviously it reminds me of shuffleboard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's, and I've tried it. Obviously it's a lot harder. I mean, how much harder was it to do than I mean, it's probably a lot harder than it looks, right?
It's quite difficult, yeah. Just to slide without falling, and then to put the rock where, like, because every ice is different in speed and how much it curls, and then how much you spin it depends on how much it breaks the curl.
So I assume that you were throwing the stone.
Everybody throws a stone there.
Everybody throws the stone. Everybody has to throw the stone? So you can't have a designated one person that throws the stone.
8 stones, 4 guys, everybody throws 2.
So of all the routes to get to the Olympics, why did Jared Allen pick curling? Is there not a faster way to get to the Olympics? I'm thinking of all these
Well, his
ancillary
first
sports.
thought was badminton.
That's classic.
And he
Yeah, but
figured
I
out,
mean,
and I looked at him, and he figured out pretty quickly, maybe after trying it one time, like, at your height, your age, at the football, your knees won't make it. It's tennis, basically. Like, you're running around.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're never going to do badminton. Like, he's tall. He can, spike the shit out of it, but those guys are,
Machines.
yeah, there's no way. So he was like, okay,
I would
something
assume
that's
that-
more accessible.
Are the Asian
Ping
company-
pong? I don't know.
Have you
No,
watched
have you
ping
watched
Yeah,
ping
no,
pong?
I have. It's,
Ping pong
yeah.
is
I'm just
nuts.
thinking
He's
of
got a better
sports.
chance of downhill
Nuts.
skiing than ping pong.
Ping pong is crazy.
Yeah, they are.
The
pretty
reflexes
nuts.
and how they like. I mean,
I know.
Are those sports dominated like bad? I mean, we know ping pong is badminton by like the Asian countries typically.
I haven't watched enough, but I would assume so.
I would assume so.
So he goes
But-
down the list and gets to curling. Let's do that.
Who's
Essentially,
dominant in curling then? What countries?
Canada?
Canada,
Sweden?
Canada, Scotland.
The Nordic countries, I would think.
Yeah, because
Nice.
that, and once winter hits, you can't do anything outside, right?
It's kind of like Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's like
So that's
they
why even
bowl-
in the
bowling.
U.S.,
There
all
you
the
go.
curling clubs are in the north.
Like Minnesota.
Yep, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all those, all the Buffalo, all those curling clubs. Everybody, they have them south. Atlanta has one. Like,
But Jared Allen.
most big cities have a curling club, but like Minnesota has like 20.
So
Every neighborhood,
why
little city has
didn't
one.
Jared Allen play for the Vikings?
He did.
Vikings long time. Then
Didn't he have?
Bears.
He did the whole like Jack in the Box celebration
Lasso.
sack. and did that
Why
whole
didn't
thing.
he do this in Minnesota? Why
tying
did he?
Was it-
tying a it's I can't think of it. Rodeo.
Was that what he was
Oh,
doing?
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he did the whole like
tie
this.
No, you lasso and tie it.
Oh my God!
And you put your hands up because you take your hands off the rope like you tied it.
I thought it was a Jack.
So
in the
he did
Box
that
thing all this
too.
time.
Why wouldn't he have stayed in Minnesota? I wonder to, establish a team. Since
Well, he
if
went
that's-
from there. He went to Chicago, played for the Bears,
But he
and
didn't-
1 year with the Panthers, I think. This last year.
Huh.
But it's a fun sport. I do miss it.
Really, more than football?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I can't play football. I can curl.
No, I'm saying, like, is there any aspect of playing in the league that you miss? Like, whether it be the camaraderie,
Oh, yeah, the-
walking out to the
the-
stadium on a Sunday, or
The actual stress and beating of playing, I don't miss. But everything else,
takes a toll on your body.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
practicing and that part, no. But yeah, all the jokes and camaraderie and travel and fun games, yeah. I'll always miss that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
just team sports.
So you go between? Are you between like here and Washington State now?
Mhm.
So do you go to Washington State when it's just gets very hot over here? Is that kind of the pattern?
Yeah. When it gets gross, like right now.
It's not that bad right now, but in
It's
about
like-
3
it's
weeks.
an index of 102 out there right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
See, I live in the
I
warehouse.
was going to
so
go to the
it's like-
driving range after this. That was my plan. And I didn't put the clubs in the trunk because I went outside to take my dogs out and then looked at the weather and I was like, no, it won't be enjoyable.
It's all
I'll
swollen.
just be dripping sweat.
Yeah.
Not fun.
So you'll be the whole summer like up in the Pacific Northwest, basically. Do you still have family that's over there?
My wife's family's all over there, yeah.
Oh,
All the bros.
All my friends in Spokane, yeah. We'll have a good time.
yeah.
Matt Booth.
Go to the beach.
Shout out Matt Booth.
Matt Booth lives in Spokane.
Yep.
It was bad last
Oh, he
summer.
does?
Yeah. Not too
I didn't
far.
know
He
that.
lives probably 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, no kidding.
That was bad last summer. We didn't connect, but summer before we did. I'll make sure this summer to just come over to Paul's house to
Yeah.
smoke and hang out on the patio.
What's your opinion on Nashville's kind of growth currently?
Big.
Yeah, you think it's too much too soon, or or it is what it is, kind of.
I mean, it is what it is because it's what it is.
Yeah.
There's no changing it. You can like it or not like it, but it's what's happening. You can move out farther, move out of the city, leave, or deal with it.
There are certain aspects of the old Nashville that I miss. We were talking about this last time we got together. It's like we were able to drive down to Lower Broadway, park on the street, walk into the spot, go shoot pool, drink, smoke cigars, and hang out. Now you can't even get anywhere near downtown.
Well, downtown, it seems to me, is just like all about tourism and the tourists. You know, it's not like locals don't really think about going there.
I mean,
which is fine. I mean, it's contained. Right.
I rarely went down there anyway. Like when people came to visit, they want to go see it, I'd go. But now if someone comes to visit, they want to go. I'm like, meet me back at my house when you're done. I'm not going down there.
Yeah.
I'll go to Ryman or Bridgestone for shows, but other than that, I'm not going down there. It's not worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's all the same person.
That's true.
They're all 25 to 32 years old, drinking Coors Light, Michelob Ultra, or Bud Light.
Cole.
Yeah, right. We're Cole.
23.
Cole is
Oh, there you go. You're good. You're
Cole's
good.
not even there yet.
All telling the same drunk stories at the bar, bumping into you. Like, it's the same person in every
Yeah,
honky tonk. And there's 2,000 in all of them. And I don't want to be around any of them.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nowhere
It's
to
not my
go
people.
to. Like, where do you hang out? Like, where can you hang out?
You scream talking, and it's you're stepping in. Hopefully, it's beer, but it's probably a little bit of urine.
Right.
Like,
And do you feel like the with the Titans, like it's been the Titans for me, like, you know, I was born and raised in Nashville. You know, I went to the Titans when they first started playing at Vanderbilt Stadium before they went to the new stadium.
Yeah.
Well, the Nissan Stadium. Now they're building a new stadium. Do you feel like with the hire of the new coach, does that mean that the Titans are going to become? Because Titans were known as being like a more of a bruising team that would battle you tough, and then they would win in the at our best we would win in the end by a field goal.
close
right?
game.
Close game, win by a field goal, that kind of thing. Do you feel like now with the hiring of Callahan as the new coach that it's going to be a more offensive oriented team, or what do you? What do you perceive that to be?
Pretty good. I haven't watched enough stuff. I mean, the quarterback seems to have that old school, hard-nosed toughness. So if he's the quarterback and the leader, everyone should follow suit and take that identity, hopefully.
But they invested heavily in offensive line because they've had it's been pretty public.
Big.
It's been
First-round tackle.
he's from Alabama, yeah.
I forget his name.
But you feel like that the coach. You feel like the
JC?
yeah.
How big? is he?
Latham? Is that right?
Yeah, but you feel like the coaching now is in place that they can, put together an offensive line that will provide more protection to Levis hypothetically.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah,
On paper.
It's all a crapshoot. It could all be good in September, and then the right or wrong 2 injuries, and you have to basically not cash the season, but nothing you can do about big
All right,
injuries.
dispel this rumor, because I watched it on Instagram all last year leading up to the Super Bowl. Is the NFL scripted? Is it fixed? Is it rigged? Because remember, I saw this stuff
if
about...
it was, I never received one.
Because there was all these
I would've loved
theories
to.
going around about, the colors of the poster dictated
yeah.
that it was going to be this team and this team. And
Which, yeah, it's just like... But
And
they only did that back to the last 2 years.
I know.
Which is why it's a coincidence.
But then they would show all these, how the league was like favoring Mahomes on certain calls and
Well,
non-calls.
that happens because he's a star.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
well, they'll
there's-
want to protect him. Yeah,
That happens because he's a star.
There's an element to that then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jordan got those calls. Like, it happens in every league.
well, Tom Brady too. You would say,
Yeah, it's... No, I love reading those things about the
I do
script.
too. I go down that rabbit hole. I'm like, God, I didn't know that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory kind
I
of a
guess you
thing.
could have a
then
conspiracy
again, like,
theory
if-
about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If, let's say, it's somehow there's a script for it.
How could you do that? How
The
can you get that
script-
many
the
players
script-
to act out this script?
Again, that's the point. The script can only be, it can't go down to the players. It has to be at the deepest it could go as a GM.
Right.
And then really the most you can script is, hey, this is who we're going to try to get in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs. Because other than that, you cannot control injuries. Those happen during random just sports.
I just thought it'd be so hard to
Like
coordinate.
people say, like,
that.
oh, if the script says I blow my ACL out, they're gonna be like, can we get a rewrite? Like,
yeah.
I don't want to set the like. What player is going to be like? Okay, it sounds good.
Like you could fix a boxing fight fairly
it's two
easily.
guys.
You know, I mean, you can get somebody to lay down in a boxing match because there's two guys. But in football, there's, 22 players on the field at one time or something. It's like,
But same with basketball, anything else. You could fix a game if someone wanted to. If just happened in baseball, then somebody just get banned.
Yeah,
he got
it was
banned.
Otani's guy.
No, but no, just recently this week,
some guy got banned for betting on baseball.
about to be banned, or
And
was
apparently he lost every bet
That's
he
right.
placed or something stupid like that. Now he's
so he's
out of
bad at it too.
Yeah.
But like depending on your position in the field, you could affect the outcome negatively if that meant you win money. But what is the payoff there?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You can't bet big enough to make it worth it. And if you do, then somebody's going to follow the money. It'll be found out. You can't hide it unless you have a friend of a friend of a friend who's already in the Caribbean or in Switzerland, and the money can't be making a bet while there.
Yeah.
Through someone that you've never met, so you can't be tied to like, well, my friend made a bet. I don't know that guy. It's too deep. And then still, you got to throw a pick. Maybe you're trying to throw a pick, and your receiver makes a hell of a play, and it's a touchdown. And you're going, shit, I just lost money.
Mm-hmm. So we'll leave it at there is favoritism towards certain players, but not that's full.
Stars.
Or they just want to protect.
Stars
They just
definitely
want to
get
protect.
a stars
They
definitely
want to
get a little
protect
bit
the
of
stars.
treatment.
Yeah.
But even then, it depends on a ref. Some refs don't give a shit. Just call what they see.
Yeah.
Some you could definitely see makeup calls. Refs know when they had you threw the flag, you can't pick. Well, sometimes you can pick it up,
Yeah.
but you make a call, you made it, and you're like, yeah, maybe I was wrong there. And then next time you're like, maybe you don't pull it out as fast.
Mm-hmm.
So do you still go to like different NFL stadiums to go to games or just whatever?
I haven't been yet. No. I think I've only been in one other stadium to watch a game.
Where was that?
Were there
Seattle.
were there stadiums that you went to that you were like, wow, this crowd noise is like noticeably more, and what would those be?
Kansas City,
Really?
Pittsburgh is pretty loud.
Seattle's known for
Is that because of like
volume,
how the
acoustics,
stadium is kind of configured?
and the
A
fans?
little bit, and the fans just are that much more into it, I guess. I don't know. The original RCA Dome was deafening too.
Nashville was loud back in the day.
Well, I guess it kind of just
But it's also
depended.
more open. Like you definitely
Yeah.
needed a little more closed to
Yeah,
keep the
yeah,
sound in.
Well, that's going to change now because we have a dome stadium they're going to be building. So, I mean, and less people by what, 8,000?
Problem
60?
is, like, Nashville's going the way of Vegas, where it's such a fun city. 20 to 40% of the fans every week will be the opposing team
Yeah.
because they're going to be like, well, if we're going to go to a away game, let's go to a fun city.
Yeah, I wonder if
Buy
they can.
the season ticket holders tickets, and you're not going to have 90% Titans fans ever.
Yeah, I wonder if they will they
Because
try.
if somebody can sell their 2 tickets and
Yeah.
pay for the rest of them in one game, who's not doing that?
I guess they
Right.
won't try
Do
to.
I think they should? No, but how are you going to fault someone that
Right.
literally, if I get preseason and at regular season, you buy 10 tickets, selling one game's worth buys the rest of them?
So
Now
I had
you're
a,
playing
I had
with
a
house money.
Yeah,
Like,
I had a friend that like was a
I
ticket.
get it.
I had a friend that was a ticket broker that did that. Like he had like 2 rows of seats behind the visitors' sideline, for example, for years. And
best place to have
and
it.
he said that he would make his money on like one game. Let's say the Patriots came in. He would make his money on the Patriots game and lose on the rest of this. But then the Titans contacted him and they bought his seats because they didn't want him to continue to do that. So I wonder if is there like the Predators are famously. We used to have, you remember, like all the when we ever played the Red Wings, there'd be so many Red Wings fans because of the car manufacturing. A lot of those employees moved from Detroit down to Nashville, and then with Chicago, you'd have all these Blackhawk fans in town, and then they got tired of it and they wanted to kind of be more restrictive on the tickets and when they opened up for sale. But I mean, you're talking about that's like 20,000 seats versus 68,000 seats or 60,000 seats in the new configuration. How much are they
And
going
you
to be willing to
also-
do that?
Yeah. You also have Nashville. The Titans are now, 25 years here?
It's been that long.
99, right?
Yeah, 99.
So you're now starting to turn over a generation of, like, you were original Titans fan, but you're an adult. So your boys are becoming in their 20s soon as like a lifelong Titans fan. Until now, like, unless someone was born when the Titans came here, they're not a lifelong Titans fan. Whereas every other, Steelers, Packers,
yeah, I was going to say.
these people have lived in that area, or
Right,
the family's been a fan
There's a
for
tradition,
50,
yeah.
60 years. So they may have moved here as a young adult and got a job here, and they're Titans fans until their team comes in. Now they're Titans fans for 7 games. Packers coming to town, Green Bay jersey. Same person, same seat, but you're Packers fans first because you grew up being that fan. Mm-hmm. You cheer for the home team, but diehard, lifelong fan. I think that happens a lot too, because the team's young.
Right. Yeah, comparatively.
Yeah.
100%. Interesting. I mean, there's so much talk in Nashville around this new area they're building called the East Bank, and the Titans Stadium, the new Titans Stadium, is at the center of it.
Yeah.
So it's just, a lot of people are talking about it, and Titans are going on a big push to try to secure people for the new stadium. So that's why it's definitely a hot topic here. But my opinion is that, like, the
sure, they would love for all these corporations to buy them at least, so they stay in town.
Yeah.
Do ex-players get grandfathered in for tickets? Can you just call up and say, hey, it's Roos, can I get tickets for... No? You don't really?
Grandfather, like...
You know what I mean? In other words, like, you played 10 seasons, so are you not entitled to, like, give me a couple of tickets on Sunday?
I'll pay for them.
No, but I mean, they don't give them to you?
No.
Really? That's kind of lame, isn't it?
Well, they're trying to sell them.
I know, but I mean,
There's a cost
just talking
per
about,
seat.
like, you take care of the guys that brought
No,
you.
I can sometimes. I don't know how often I could do it. I don't push it, but usually if I got some friends coming to town, then I'll contact the ticket office and see if I can, like the last game of the year, I had my college coach and some friends came in, so I needed like 8 tickets.
Was that the guy that Laura hooked on the fishing trip? That coach? Eastern Wash, remember? We did that fishing trip thing.
Yeah. I don't remember.
And we had to go out and fish, which I've never been fishing.
Fishing is great.
Yeah, it might be, but
I don't remember who she
anyway.
hooked.
So Laura goes back with
Might have been him.
and hooks him in the leg, and it was your coach from
Might have
Eastern.
been him, yeah. But they're in town, so I need like 8 tickets. That's going to be hard to find on Ticketmaster.
Right.
I usually just try to find a decent, So that's the one time a year I'll contact them and go, hey, can you get 8 kind of together? Because they have, whether it's through companies like that, whatever people will give them, and I'll just be able to pay face value. But usually if me and my wife are going, or a couple people, just go on Ticketmaster, find a decent price you're okay with, and I probably could do it every game, but I'm not.
I mean,
I don't believe in overusing
Yeah. No, I get that.
connection.
Well, the biggest thing is that, like, watching it on TV, like football, is becomes so. I mean, it's easy to watch football on TV. They give you so many kind of stats. They give you the replays when you want them. That kind of thing. Is that
From the comfort of your home,
from the comfort of your home.
Very
I feel like
different
that to go in person, that you've got to make the in-person experience like compelling, so that people get excited to go to it. That to me is like the biggest challenge. And you could say that, well, if the product on the field is an exciting product, that you want to be amongst that energy of the fans in person, that's a big part of it. But what else can they do around it so that it makes the experience?
Well, I think winning.
That's
You get a
always
winning
number one.
team, and everybody wants to be there.
Always, that's
Right.
winning cures all. Mm-hmm. It sells, it cures. Mm-hmm. If you got a winning team, you can do whatever you want.
Everybody wants to get on that bandwagon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
Bad
to see.
things get shoulder turn, like brush that aside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think the Predators have done like a really. They've had an interesting arc, because when they moved in over here, nobody really knew about hockey. They didn't know the rules. They didn't know, so they had to make the experience when you go to like Bridgestone for a hockey game like fun.
It's a great experience.
And so I feel like that when the Titans first came here, it was sort of like, well, we're football, we're the number one sport. It was sort of like people are going to come here anyway, because Tennessee has like this kind of football passion anyway, because of University of Tennessee and that kind of thing. but now it's interesting to hear about like this new stadium being opened up. Plus, you add the Nashville factor of it being a fun town, a fun destination. People want to go there and have a good time. If there's a visiting home game, they'll want to come and they'll want to go see it. But will the Titans want to have 20 to 40% of the stadium be the opposing? I don't
They
know.
won't have a say in it. If you're fans,
it's sort of like market demand will kind of dictate what that is.
The only way they could control it is if they write into the PSL agreements that you're allowed, but you can't put that in. It's
your property.
your
Once
property.
you buy it, that's
you
it.
can't tell
You can
someone
do
what to do. Because even if you say you can only sell 2 of your tickets, like you can't prove that you didn't sell it to a family member, and then they resold it.
How do you track that? That's
You can't.
ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you can't write anything in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all develops for sure.
I'm almost out of cigars, so I guess we're running about that time. We're about, okay. I judged the time. I don't even have to look at the clock or anything. All right, rapid fire questions. Favorite golf course you ever played? Can be
Ever?
anywhere.
That's a tough one.
That's a
actually.
good one, right?
It kind of goes to the cigar and whiskey. Actually, it's not
You
a
gotta
rapid
pick
answer. Right. So you got to give me a couple parameters.
No parameters. Favorite golf. It could be
Yeah, where you
freaking
had the
Ireland,
most fun.
Scotland. It
Yeah.
could be freaking whatever.
And why?
You've played a few, so that's why I'm
That's
saying.
why-
What's your
yeah,
favorite?
that's-
You got
that's
to
why.
pick one.
Yeah, I'm narrowing. Well, when I just played last week in Scotland, I'd never played before, and it's instantly in the top 5 in terms of enjoyment, the views.
What was it?
Dumbarnie Links. The day we played it was their 4-year anniversary. Brand new golf course.
Brand new.
And it was gorgeous. Since it was recent, I'll just go that.
How was the weather?
65 and sunny.
Okay, good.
All right.
All right.
If you could, I got one. Okay,
All
so
right, go ahead. I have one too.
if you had to do it all over again and you had a choice to make a career out of football or acting, because little known fact, you've been in a few movies, which one would you go? If you could be equally as successful in either, which would you have preferred
Equally
to do?
as successful?
Yeah. You could have made the same amount of money acting as you did playing football, and you had a choice. You want to act? You want to play football?
Then assuming I would have been an actor and taken lessons and actually been a good actor, because I'm
Whatever.
not. But yeah, probably acting because there's less
Fun?
Less,
Well,
less
that and
stress on your
less
body.
body tear.
Yeah. You did all
Yeah.
right
If you're talking the same amount of money, same amount of years, yeah, acting.
there. Okay, fair. You
What's
got
your
one?
What's your favorite? What's your kind of go-to bourbon on a day like today when it's a little hot? End of the day, you want to have like a bourbon to cap off your day. What would you go to? Or it could be whiskey, bourbon or whiskey. Let's say.
I mean, generally, if I'm just day-to-day drinking, it's nothing crazy. It's stuff like Woodford, Elijah Craig. If I'm going to have something nicer to like end of day, probably be Redbreast, 12-year Irish whiskey, or Middleton Irish whiskey, or if it's Christmas, Lagavulin.
Favorite city anywhere in the world?
Ooh. I need parameters.
No.
'Cause
That
it
takes all the
doesn't-
fun out of it.
No, I know, but it depends on
It
what
could
I'm
be
doing.
anywhere.
What if
Anywhere
we
that you've
I
been.
know, but that's what I'm saying. It depends on what I'm doing or why I'm there.
Eating, drinking, relaxing, vacationing, whatever.
Copenhagen.
Okay.
Oh wow. Your favorite country to just go and kind of visit and tour around. You're with your wife and you want to, have a relaxed time and.
Ireland, or want to see more of Spain.
I was going to say, what about Greece? I know y'all went to, that looked beautiful.
Just Santorini, really. Athens a little bit, but Santorini is beautiful. But in terms of like traveling around and seeing it, Ireland and Spain, I want to see more of.
I got another one. What 2 or 3 local restaurants would you say if you're going to visit Nashville, you should
Must go to?
Yeah, must go to, or I advise you go to these restaurants if you want to go to Nashville and get like a good kind of mix of 2 or 3 restaurants that just come to your mind.
Let's see if Max is watching this.
Rolf and Daughters,
Yeah.
Henrietta Red, City House. Those happen to be a few blocks from my house.
Walkable from Michael's house.
Locust.
Yeah.
Now that you said City House, favorite pizza? I'm gonna
Bellingham.
Bellingham, I know.
Yeah,
okay,
that,
okay.
that one's
All
you
right.
can't lose there.
There's no parameters there.
No, that's it.
no,
Flat
no,
out.
no.
Bellingham.
That pizza is on my death sentence last meal.
Yeah.
Would be that pizza. Yeah, there's so many fucking restaurants.
Do you?
Folk.
I love folk too.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah. Do you have a favorite cigar size?
Sublime.
654.
654. Okay.
Any more? Or should we end it on that one?
It's a cigar question. I mean, that's a good
That's a
one
good
to end it
cigar
on.
question. It's a good one to end it on. All right. Well, that's cool. Appreciate it. All right.
Thank
That
you,
wraps
guys.
it up.
Thank you guys for
Thanks for
having
the
me.
time, man.
Yeah.
been
Thank you
fun.
very much. It's been great.
'Cause I'm glad
As
we did it
always.
today because we wouldn't see you till when you come. You're Gonzo.
No one knows.
Yeah. It's a
Unpublished.
Maybe never.
Shows.
Might not come back.
Well, maybe. And maybe on the next, by the time you come back, we'll do another one. So anyway, all right. That's it. So thanks for checking out Oz Heads podcast number 18. We'll see you on 19. Keep smoking Crown Heads. Keep smoking Oz Family Cigars. See you on the next one.